My hat! Alright, so I have the brushless / four-wheel drive right over here and the brushless Vortex. So I have them both. That is one of my older Vortex. Notice I kept the original system. This is the one I replaced the shocks if you watched another video and I made the video showing you how to tune them. But anyway, some of the differences, I'm going to start with the Vortex that you can notice right off the bat is, yes, they're pretty much the same, except for this thing has this massively long wire. I don't understand why, as opposed to this. To be honest, the wire is probably the same length. It's just tucked into here and you have the short antenna instead of a super long tube. I don't know why there's a need. Somebody can explain it to me, I'm sure. The ESC is massive. It's actually a lot larger. So if you look at the footprint, it's really large compared to the XL-5. Now, at some point, I'm going to remove the systems and then I'm going to weigh them, but not right now. Later on in the video. So this car weighs 1333. And this one is 1303, so it's probably about 30 grams from just the system if I had to take a guess. Now, one of the things that I noticed too is either the insulation is thinner or the wires are thinner. So I'm not really sure which one it is, but we have, I think it might be the wire. This is 16 gauge according to what it says here. And this one is 14 gauge. So they did go with smaller wires. So we went from 14 to 16 gauge. Not that you need more on these cars, they're just 2S. Now the slash, one of the things to note, one, yes, the bodies are amazing. Now you have these clips on the bottom. I think they're called clipless because you don't have the body pins, but this is the way the clips work. So they do add quite a bit of weight. I'm not going to remove them and weigh them, but I wouldn't be surprised this adds more than, because of that whole base over there, over 50 grams, I wouldn't be surprised. But here's the thing, the posts, they're actually a lot stronger. So for bashing, I think this is a great idea. I think it's a much stronger system. You get all the winter plastics, which I love. If you've watched my Nitro drag car build from back in the day, I'm pretty sure I used the winter plastic. Yep, winter plastics in the rear. And they're very durable. I really like these TRX arms, I think they call them. So they're the winter plastics. Hubs, everything. This is actually a great buy, but one of the things to notice is they're all high CG. If you're just bashing going to a park where the grass might not be mowed all the time, this is actually the better chassis in my opinion, because you don't get the grass constantly rubbing on the chassis, slowing you down. As opposed to the LCG, you would notice that. Eventually, the chassis is just like running on the grass the entire time. It really scrubs speed. You have to watch your temps a little more. But I'm going to run that. So this is part of the plan. The plan is I'm going to put my GPS on there. 2 of them, if they both work, hopefully. Run it, see what the acceleration is, see how it accelerates with the stock brushless motor, and then I'm going to swap out the brush motor in it and then make a comparison, see if this thing's actually better or not. Now, I'm thinking it will be, it should, it's brushless, has ball bearings, etc. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the Vortex. So, we're going to move on to that.
BL-2s ESC is 87 grams. The brushless motor is 213, kind of heavy. The old ESC XL-5 is 53 grams. And the motor is 211 grams. Now I'm going to do a lot of runs, so this is the stats for 40 meters drag, just over 4 seconds, just under 4 seconds. This is the brushed car, and then 4 seconds flat. So we'll say brushed car, you can do 4 seconds flat, just under, and 47 kilometers per hour, which is pretty good. And didn't really consume that much battery, to be honest. And most of them are going to be the same for the battery consumption. It was 4 runs, 3 of them recorded. This is the brushed now. So brushed, same time, and same time to 40 meters. So they're about the same, except for top speed is slower. This is 45. Now, I'm going to have some notes later on about the top speed because I'm actually running a 28 tooth pinion instead of the 29 that comes stock with the brushless. Now, the brush actually comes with a much smaller one. Now, here, this is the slash, so brushed. In the 420s, close to 4. So the slash 4-wheel drive with the Titan is as fast as the Fortec based on these tests. So keep that in mind. But that's for now. There's a surprise later on which has to do with the efficiency of the brushless. But I need to make a note about the pinions for the Fortec. And here we go. This is the brushless. So brushless is slower in the slash, acceleration-wise. So yeah, brushed is going to take it more than likely. And here we go, 43 kilometers per hour, same exact pinion. Battery consumption is about the same. So now it's time for the endurance test. Take it to the park. So as I start the day, beautiful weather, 60 degrees, about 15 Celsius, and I ended the day at about 54, 12 Celsius. But here we go. So starting the day, now I'm going to give you more information. The brushless system is actually better than the Titan, and I know it doesn't seem like it is yet, but after this test you will see. So I do like the Titan motor. Titan motor is a motor that I just enjoy for just bashing, running around. But one of the things that I was trying to mention is the following. The Fortec comes stock with a 29 tooth pinion for the brushless system. That's the current system. Now I ran it with the 28 because I wanted to run both motors. I didn't think the Titan could handle it, to be honest, because of heat. But since I was only doing a few passes, it got a little warm, but it didn't get hot. So that's the reason why I decided to knock it down a tooth. So you can actually add 1.5 kilometers to the top speed of the Fortec for that. So it's actually, it'll do 46, 47 out of the box kilometers per hour. But the stock old Fortec, this is with the Titan motor, the pinion was a lot smaller that it came with. It was either 22 or 24. I would have to look at my older videos, and it's actually slower. So if you get a Fortec out of the box with a Titan and a Fortec out of the box with a brushless, the brushless is actually faster because of the different pinions. Now, really quick, I'm going to run the slash 5 minutes. So I have a timer, 5 minutes, and I'm going to try to run it as much as possible without stopping or flipping over. Here I have to run, and then I'm going to temp it, and you'll see what I mean. So the optional gear in the Fortec was a bigger gear, but that was only recommended for high-speed runs. If you actually think about the temperatures that you're going to see here based on the slash, the brushless system is actually more efficient. One, it has ball bearings instead of bushings. Two, it's brushless, so it doesn't have the brushes that are constantly creating friction. And that's the biggest thing. If you're just going to drag race the Titan motor is an amazing motor. It really is a very good motor. But this is just for a few seconds. Very few seconds. You know, you do a pass, let it cool, 3 passes, let it cool. But if you're actually going to be bashing and running it, as you're going to see based on this test, the brushless system is really the way to go. And the reason why is the Titan, you have to gear down very, very low, which means that your top speed is actually going to be a lot slower for a continuous bashing session. To be honest, and I'm going to get to the temps in a bit, actually I'm going to fast forward this video pretty soon. Like I said, it's a 5-minute run. But the temperatures got high enough to where, my God, that motor stinks. I mean, it smells, like it literally smells like that electronic smell afterwards. So let me go ahead and fast forward, and I'll keep talking at the same time. Fast forward. I meant speed up the video. So this is 8 times faster, and I'm running it, and there's some pretty high patches, especially on the left side. There's some pretty high patches of grass, which is why all of these slashes come high CG. You can't get the conversion kit, but high CG is better for this. That way the belly's not rubbing all the grass. It doesn't bog you down as much. Although the other one is more stable. So it just depends on the terrain. If you're going to be if you're running grass, do the high CG. If you're running on non-grass, so say just dirt, asphalt, do the low center of gravity conversion. It's a lot better for those situations. But here we go. So I'm just running it, trying to run it, and I'm trying to keep it running, and I'm doing this just for fun for 5 minutes. One of the things to note is I did take I took my multimeter, and you probably saw this in the camera, and I took the voltage of the battery before I ran it, before I ran this pack, and it was 8.37. So I am going to read the voltage at the end as well of the battery, just to see how much battery it consumed. And this was actually a surprise. Now, my multimeter and my charger, they read a little different. I'm going to give you both of the measurements, but they're still consistent in favor of one of the two motors, and I think you can probably guess which one by now. Again, yes, on a drag strip, the Titan is faster than the brushless, but if you're bashing, you're going to have to gear down the Titan, so the Titan's actually going to be slower. Now, ignore that little twig. I got a twig too with the other one. It's just going along. But here are the temperatures. 210 Fahrenheit, 281 Fahrenheit, and I took temperatures at different part of the motor, heat sink as well. That's the ES. Oh no, that's Celsius. Sorry, that's the ESC. So the ESC is at 62 Celsius, 144 Fahrenheit. So that's pretty high, and that's the voltage, 756 at the end. So long story short, I ran it ready to store. The motor is very, very hot, so I kind of skipped to this part where I was swapping out the electronics right here in the field. It doesn't take that long, to be honest. You'll do it in under 10 minutes if the motor's not hot. So here I'm trying to use, I forgot to bring gloves, but it's still really, really hot. I was trying to blow on the motor to try to cool it down so I could grab it unsuccessfully. Here I'm trying not to burn the jacket. I'm checking it. It's actually a new jacket my wife got me. Don't tell her. Hopefully she doesn't watch this video. No, I'm kidding. She probably will. Maybe. But I'm swapping out the electronics. I'm using the same exact pinion. So the only thing I'm doing is swapping the electronics. That is it. So now that's the new battery. Notice this one has a gray connector instead of the black connector from the other battery. Then again, it's 5mm bullet connectors. But here we go. So 837. So same voltage reading with my multimeter between the two batteries. And here we go again. So 5 minutes. Now I do have to set the endpoints because I swapped the ESC. So I need to do the whole setting the endpoints here. So blinks once, you go full forward. Blinks twice, you go full reverse. And this one, usually it just starts working, but I to power off and power on, and then it started working again. But here we go. So there we go. I'm ready to go. Endpoints are good. I'm not going to discount that as part of the charge. Now, I actually like the way the clips work. You have to sort of align it. You'll get used to it. But I like the clean look from them. It's not necessarily something that you need. You can always get the those little rubber bits that Traxxas sells. Part number. I can give you the part number. So part number is 5751. And those are the body clip retainers. It's like these little long rubber things. The number that I gave you, those are blue. They make some other colors, or they used to. But here we go. So I'm running the truck, and remember I told you there's on the left side of the screen, the grass is pretty tall. I actually got the truck stuck there for a while. Now, keep the temperatures in mind. So one of the temperatures was just over 200 degrees, about 110 Fahrenheit. The other one was about 181 Fahrenheit. So keep those in mind when we do the comparison with the brushless. And also remember the volts. When the battery started, both of the batteries started at 8.37 volts. The first one ended at, see, there's the patch, I got stuck. So the tires are spinning, but I slowed down too much because I wanted to do a sharp turn and then got it stuck, so I've got to push it out. So there, now you can see how tall that grass is. That's why you want the high CG for grass. But going back to the temperature and volts, that is something that you have to keep in mind during these tests. I'm not really sure, to be honest, I haven't really checked other videos, but if you do just a drag race comparison, the Titan will probably take this one. Why? Because they do about the same, well, actually on the Fortec, they do about the same 0 to 40 meters, but the top speed is higher on the Titan, using the same gear, assuming you're using the same gear. And then in the Slasher is actually a little slower. I mean, the Slash with the Titan had very similar speeds. It's probably just torque, maybe? I'm going to say it's the torque. That's the only thing I can think of. But on this one you can make up, actually you don't have to make anything up, as you're going to see with temperature. So those are some of the things. If you do a little drag race, yes, the Titan will take it, but here, the brushless is actually the best motor to get for bashing. So I'm going to go ahead and say Traxxas did a wonderful job replacing that system, and the system that they put in this truck as an RTR is a great system. And I'm saying this because I, believe it or not, I am a fan of the Titan. I was a fan of the Titan, well, still, but that one's going to be phased out after a while. Very few cars have it now. On the Slash two-wheel drive, I think it's only the build kit that has the Titan motor. But anyway, here I was just pulling a little twig that got stuck between the arm and the shaft, apparently, that I was running. I don't know how long I was running it, but I could kind of see it and eye it, but I just left it there. I'm trying to overheat the motor. So let me fast forward again, and I'll keep talking. And a quick note of the battery, these are Gens Ace Redline batteries, 6,000 milliamp hour batteries. So pretty much with the Titan, you're looking at about a 5-minute runtime the way I was running it now, because, well, I ran it down to the storage level. But here we go. So on this one, not so much. This one actually has longer runtime. So that's the other thing too. This brushless system has longer runtime. And I say that because when I take the voltage reading, it's going to be higher. The end voltage is going to be higher than what it was on the Titan. So those are some of the things to consider. The Titan is not going to be able to hold its own against this brushless system because this system is awesome. It runs a lot cooler, and for that reason you can gear higher than the Titan, which means it will be faster in a bashing or racing scenario. Because keep in mind, if you're racing, you're probably going to do 5 minutes straight, and you might actually do maybe another minute of warm-up, possibly. So think about it. Your Titan is going to be smelling like burnt electronics by the end of that race. This one's going to be cool. But here we go. So that's the 5 minutes. So I'm bringing her in. I'm going to show you the temperature. There we go, 121. Look at that. This thing is cool. So I can gear this baby up. 113. All right, here we go. I think that's the ESC 117. That's Celsius, say 45 C, 43 C. I'm just rounding at this point. Notice, sorry, this is the ESC, but notice how cool it is. So ESC 35 degrees C. I mean, this system is really awesome, and I just added this part of the video so I could talk a little more, but long story short, I was taking pictures as I was taking the temperature. But here we go. This is live right after the run, and I would just take the body and start taking temperature with this gun. So same gun, same day. Again, the temperature difference, if you look at peak to when I ended, not that much difference. And to be honest, it takes me maybe about 5 minutes to walk to the park and then walk back. I think maybe 10, I don't know, somewhere around there. I don't think it's 10, it's probably 5. But again, the system runs very, very cool. And I am going to give you the voltage reading in a bit, but that's something to keep in mind. Don't look at comparisons just drag racing the two with the same exact gearing. Titan will win, but once you start doing some endurance, what these RCs are made to do, which is just bash and run for quite some time, you're going to fry up the other motor if you try keeping up with this one. You're not going to be able to keep up with this one. So here we have, that was 765, so that was 765 volts, but my charger actually read it a lot higher, read it at 784, I believe, about 49%, so that was interesting. Long story short, there's still more runtime on this battery, so I wasn't finished with it. So let me show you the charger. This is what the charger reads. So that one I plugged in, tried to put in storage, 759, it's finished, it's done. The other battery, I'm going to go here, so 384 per cell, which is 768, that's about 50%, but anyway, so they're just about 0.2 difference, so they're actually pretty close, the multimeter. Now I need to shake it up. So, in sum, the brushless system is actually a lot faster than the old Titan, if you consider gearing. That's a twig that was stuck here on the brushless system that I was running. Keep in mind there's 3 wheels spinning completely free, so no big deal. But if you want to take that into account. The point is the brushless system will have longer run times. You can gear a lot higher potentially, which will make it actually faster. Now I have to clean it, but I do hope this was useful or at least entertaining. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My arm! My rod!